Hi, Harshika, how are you? I think there is some noise issue from your side.
Just give me a second.
Sure.
Is this better?
Something is
Is it better?
happening. Yeah, it's better. Hi, how are you?
Good. Hi. How are you?
I am also good. So, how's everything going on? How is COVID?
COVID is as is. I've learned to just work around it. So doing whatever I can, work-wise, personal interests. How are things with
Uh,
you?
Things are good. Things are going good. At the moment, there are cases are very less, so yeah, it's good.
That's because there's more time than to take care of self as well.
Yes, yes. And I think we have learned that okay, COVID is just another phase of our life. We need to move on.
It's become a normal. I don't
Yes,
think. Yeah.
yes, yeah. So I will be waiting for 1 or 2 minutes so that the people can join us, and then we will start. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
There is
Okay.
no disturbance now, right?
Yeah.
It's all
What?
clear. There is no disturbance from my
No.
end, right?
No. No. I hope there's no disturbance from my side too. Okay. So it's raining in Mumbai?
Let's say the rain is fluctuating. It's there, then it's not there. But we're having a lot of rainfall, so that's a good thing.
Okay.
A lot of
Okay. 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 So. Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you. I hope everyone is keeping safe. So, I would be starting with today's live session. Uh, Manoshala aims to democratize preventive mental health care solutions in India, which not only focuses on clinical therapy but also focuses on alternative therapy. I am Tamanna Rajpal, the host of today's live session. I am an expert with Manoshala. I work as a child psychologist where I deal with kids in their behavioral issue and academic issue. Parenting is that special part of our life where we play a very important role in our child's life. It is a provider, nurturer, advisor, friend, observer, authority figure, tutor. The list goes on and on. Often these roles conflict with one another. No doubt, every parent has experienced the sense of being pulled in opposite direction, unsure of which role to step into at any given moment. The struggle over parenting role is filled with complications. Further, by faced with different more issues. So today, we will be talking about parenting coaching with and an expert Harshika would be telling more about that what are the different strategies we can work with kids. Our today's expert is Ms. Harshika. She is a counseling psychologist and expressive art facilitator. She began to practice in Chennai and presently she is practicing in Mumbai and Than. She has an experience of 7 years. She completed her master's in psychology, counseling, and did a diploma in expressive art therapy. And she has also been presented in different newspapers like Times of India. So hi Harshika.
Hi. And hi,
Okay.
everybody. Thank you for joining in.
Okay, so let's okay. So we did a kind of a questionnaire round on our page also where people have asked us few questions. So I will be taking that also, and I would be really happy if the our audience also can come up with few questions. We can answer them too. So our first question for today's live session is, what is parent coaching?
So, parent coaching is a collaborative process, right? Just like how therapy is, so is parent coaching. But what we do in parent coaching is that the focus lies more on the parenting or helping the parents parent better, right? Especially considering the pandemic, like how Tamanna said, there are so many concerns, new concerns that are coming up. Like a parent could be facing a child's gadget addiction, the child may not have a lot of social involvement right now because of a lot of isolation that needs to be done. There are so many variations of the COVID coming up, and we don't know how to deal with it. So, as adults, when we are struggling, imagine what it would be for a child and what it would be for the child's parents, especially those parents who are new parents, right? So what parent coaching does is it gives a support system to the parents. It helps the parents navigate all the parenting concerns that they're facing, especially in the current moment, and also what are the strategies that can be used most effectively. So the focus is on the current situation. You are here now, how you can take it forward, right? With a lot of techniques, strategies, and the techniques and strategies in the parent coaching is also evidence based. It's very information based. It's not just something that's given out of the blue. So that's what parent coaching is all about.
Okay, thank you. So, like this is a very like this is very at the moment people are really want to know that is parent coaching different from therapy?
It absolutely is. In terms of parent coaching is very specific towards parenting, right? Whereas therapy is can be both for the child as well as the parents, or basically any individual with concerns that require help or healing. We go into the past concerns. We will talk about the feelings that emerge from the past to the present and the feelings in the present, how we can manage, how we can resolve things of the past. That is what therapy is about. Parent coaching also doesn't look at diagnosis if you're working for child behavior, right? Whereas a therapy would at times require diagnosis to work on things. So these are the more distinct differences between parent coaching and therapy.
Okay. So I want to know this is a like is it is always compulsory that both the parents should be there for the parent coaching, and parent coaching can happen in groups or it has to be done individually, like one parent, or we can have a group of parents, what like we can have a parent coaching.
This is a really interesting question, Tamanna, because, especially given the pandemic, having to juggle work, having to juggle home chores, as well as things for the child, it's not always possible that the both the parents are able to come into the session. So usually it is one parent just coming in, right? However, when both the parents come in, it becomes more beneficial. Why? Because sometimes parenting concerns can come out of different parenting styles of both the parents. So when both the parents do come into the session, it becomes like it helps them to come onto the same page. For example,
Okay.
I may be a parent wherein I think that a little strictness will help the child, and my husband would be a kind of parent where he
Yeah,
feels that we need
agree.
to be a little more lenient.
Yes.
So then there is a gap in the parenting,
Yeah.
right? So it can either be that both parents are coming in so that they can be on the same page, or one parent is coming in and the other parent is willing to work together by listening to this one parent who has come into the session. And as a matter of group, definitely you can go in for group parenting sessions because it is so helpful. It creates a community for the parents. This is additional support system for the parents. They get different perspectives of other parents. Maybe a concern for one parent may not have been for the other parent, and then they can share what they did for their own kid, which might help the other parent. So, and yes, there are a lot of group parenting sessions that do happen.
Okay. Thank you. I think we did had a movie also where it was a kind of where there used to be every mom discussing about the child's problem and the therapist used to help. And I don't remember the name of the movie, but yeah, I have also read about it. So, how we can handle an aggressive and a stubborn child?
So I'm going to give it to you more in the current scenario, pandemic point of view, because when you can apply it in the pandemic, you can definitely apply it outside or post the pandemic as well,
Yeah,
right? So taking in the current scenario as well, we need parents, or let me not even say parents, in general, adults coming into interaction with the child need to understand why the behavior is occurring. The why is extremely important, right? Every behavior always has a reason. Now, if a child is stubborn, if a child is angry, if a child is, throwing tantrums or anything that could be happening, it's very important to see what is it that the child is missing, right? Is the child hungry? Has the child slept well? Is the child's health okay? Is the child used to hearing no all the time? That now they have started saying no. when the child is expressing in a certain way, how are the parents or the adults responding back to the child? Is the child displaying the same kind of behavior? Is the child needing more attention from the family or the adults coming at play? These are all factors that's very important to see, because as a child, they only know I am angry. I have not got this. I have not got that. They don't know to say I am angry because you did this. I am angry because you don't spend time with me. They do not know to verbalize like that. So as adults, it's up to us to sit with the child and try to understand. I am seeing that you are angry. That is why you're behaving like this. Can you tell me what has happened? Did I do something wrong? Is it something that you did not get? So then it helps the child verbalize. It also very importantly gives the child a safe space. That okay,
Okay.
my parent or my adult is understanding me. They want to help me. They are not going to scold me because I'm behaving like this. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, a child will mirror what the adult does, because they are learning that if I behave like this, I will get what I want. And as
Okay.
adults, when we are taking out our anger to make sure the child is doing what we want, the child will respond the same way. I am going to take out my anger, so my adult will do what I want.
Okay. Okay. So, just to like maintain the like aggressive behavior or stubborn behavior, we do have always taught our parents that there should be a calming corner in your house, right? So, do you think that as a parent should also have a calming corner?
Absolutely. I think as a family, it's important to practice the ritual of self care, having time out for yourself, having a place where you can just vent out. It could be a person, it could be a thing. Thing can be something like a stress ball where the parents are doing it. I'm saying whatever techniques I'm going to be saying now can
Yeah.
be used for both child and parent, right? So stress balls, calming corner where you have like your self-care kit of art materials, some papers that you will just want to like tear up, any playlist that is going to help you calm down, any space in the house, especially if you have a balcony, is great. You can look out into the nature, feel that nice breeze on you. That's going to help you calm down. Even non-milk tea. Wait, what's it called? Green tea.
Yeah.
Sorry. Green tea also really helps. These are some small things you can do to ensure you're grounded. This is called being grounded, right? You can ground yourself. This helps you take a step back to manage the emotions, thereby more effectively managing the child's emotions.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. Okay, so can you suggest few parenting techniques on how to handle a child when when he or she starts going to school after a pandemic? Like because we are knowing the slowly and gradually schools are opening, and now it will also open for pre-primary class 1 and 2. So how a parent can handle a kid because the whole routine has changed. So how we can work on that?
So this is a really important question. So thank you, parents, for asking that. Now there are two answers to this. There are going to be some children who are stepping new into school for the first time, and there are going to be a set of children who have had a 2 years gap from school and then going to be going back into school. Now, the only common thing in both the scenarios is that the children have been at home and with family constantly. So it's going to be again a new space for them where they have to be away from their support system. So for those children going new into school, what I would suggest is get the child to become more independent in terms of doing their activities by themselves, sitting away from you when they need to engage in any kind of games for a while, or if you've already enrolled them into online play schools and attending the play schools by themselves, so that they are to an extent comfortable leaving and having to go into that physical space of a school, because that space will not have you. While it will have other support systems, the main support system will still be absent for the child. For those children who are going to go after a long time, start creating a schedule for them
Okay.
in terms of like how a school timetable would be. Have fixed timings of waking up to sleeping, fixed timings for play, screen time, eating, study time, because all those children who had to stop school are now anyway having online classes. Right? So
Yes.
when you are giving that kind of a timetable, the child gets used to a routine. And it's very important to relate each thing that you are doing as a parent at home to explaining why it's important in school.
Yes,
Right? So
agree.
this will really help, and this happens in school as well. That's how discipline is maintained in schools, using a reward or a reinforcement system. If
Yeah,
as parents you've ever seen in the lower cages, there'll be this notice board with one package of star and one package having no star. If the
yes,
child has done well or behaved properly, a star would go in to, like, the good package, and then the star would change to the bad package if the child has not behaved properly. So you could use similar reward system based on the age of the child,
yes,
right? To ensure that whatever is required for the child to adjust to school is being done, and if a similar behavior is shown in school, the child will be used to it. The most important thing here that every adult needs to do is, be firm, but don't be rude.
okay,
Be respectful to the child that you are going to be with another individual, because they need to understand why you're bringing in sudden changes at home. So unless you
okay,
explain it to them and relate it for them, it's not going to click with them. So this is very important to do.
okay. That's a great point, and I think all the parents are required this at the moment. Okay,
And sorry, Tamanna, if I may add, as parents, I think they also need to understand that, they can't control everything. They can't, prepare their child for everything. Allow the child to face a difficult situation. Allow the child to cry. Allow the child to be uncomfortable if you can't avoid it. The child will learn to adapt, because the more we are trying to structure everything for a child, the more protective environment the child is in,
then
which means when the child has to get out, they will not know how to manage.
yeah, okay. So, a lot of kids who were just like 2 years or 3 years when COVID happened, so they were planning to go to school before that COVID happened, and they started with the online classes. So, how we can work with them? Basically, like because they don't have that peer interaction, social interaction, different. We have different skills on which we haven't worked with the kids because they are not going to school. So how we can work with them so that the kids are a little bit prepared that okay, I will be meeting new people. So is this
This
something of your
is
strategy?
This is very tricky, Tamanna, because what I have noticed, especially when I'm working with my clients, is that not every city is open.
Yeah.
I understand that there are some cities where the children are able to go down, are able to mingle. So then, slowly the social skills are coming in, especially for those children who need to start going to school for the first time. But there are
Yes.
still some cities that are closed, so they aren't able to mingle. So what I would usually suggest is, if you aren't able to go meet somebody face to face, at least video call.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
person, the child is seeing another person, the child is trying to interact with another person. You can do puppet play, role plays with your child. Okay, if you need to go to school, how will you greet your teacher? Now, I am
Okay.
your teacher, how will you greet me? Will you be okay going to school? Talk to the child. It's very important to talk to the child as to the transition that's going to happen to prepare them.
Yes.
In 10 days, you are going to be going to a new school. There will be a new teacher. Mommy is not going to be there. There are going to be all of your friends to play with. Are you going to be okay? You don't worry. Assuring the child that things are going to be okay and telling them what might happen will prepare them mentally for what is to come,
Yes.
right? And for those cities where it is open and the child is able to mingle, please take them out to socialize. It can be just half an hour a day, but they are amongst other people in a new environment. And we definitely, there are at least one relative coming over, irrespective of whether there's a lockdown or not. So you can get people to come in or visit at least one person.
Yeah. Okay. So, this is one of my favorite question. Is it fine to give punishment to the child? And what are other ways we can do to reduce child's non-compliance behavior?
I'm sorry, can you just repeat this?
Sure. So, is it fine to give punishment to the child? And what are the ways we can reduce child's non-compliance behavior?
So punishment, okay, again, it depends on the definition of punishment, but Irrespective, I don't encourage punishment at any time because that is just going to decrease the child's self-confidence, because it's going to make the child feel that, I am bad or I am getting punished all the time and they are not able to understand me. Right? What I would suggest, like I had mentioned before, the concept of reinforcement or rewards. What are reinforcement and rewards? It is just a tool that every parent is using to help the child understand what is acceptable behavior and what is a non-acceptable behavior. Right? For example, if I have to give to parents, um, your child gets up late consistently, right, and is missing online classes, or in general, it's a rule at home that everybody needs to get up at a certain time and your child isn't waking up. When your child has shown once, twice, thrice that okay, they are waking up at a certain time, complimenting the child is a reinforcement of good behavior. Giving the child high five is a reinforcement of good behavior. Telling your child that if you're going to, you have done this for 3 days, if you do it for 4 more days, I will extend your playtime. The child gets very excited. My mother lets me play only for 1 hour. Now I get to play for 1.5 hours. So I will then get up just for that. Right? Avoid materialistic rewards. It should not be key. You will do this. I will give you the phone. No. The goal is the phone, not the behavior. Then, if it's a very maybe a blunt example, but it's like for us adults, we work for satisfaction, we work for a certain lifestyle, we work to earn money. That's our motivation. So when you
Agreed.
want your child to do something as an adult or parent, what is the motivation that you're giving them? That is the idea of a reward or a reinforcement system. And it has to be consistent, right? Parents, it cannot be that, it's okay, he's crying, let me leave it. If you have to, and you have to mention this to your child, I want, this is the behavior I'm expecting from you. If you do this, you will get this and you will follow through with it. If
Okay.
you don't do this, I will cut out your extra playtime. If it's 1 hour, I will make it only 40 minutes playtime. And you will follow through with cutting down with the playtime. So that the child will understand that I cannot manipulate my parent. My parent is going to say what they are saying. Sorry, do what they're saying.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So, uh, this is a little different question, but as you
Mm-hmm.
know, a newborn baby is coming, and
Yeah.
some people are taking their babies out. We are also seeing a lot of film actors, they're taking their baby out for traveling also, but still there are babies who are not going out because of
Mm.
COVID. And that might happen that till the time they are not being they are not vaccinated, they might not go out, but and they might have the age of 1.5 years or 2 years. So how we
Mm-hmm.
can deal with them, because everything would be new for them. We are giving them a limited screen time. We are giving them, how we can deal with that kids. They might get a little bit of aggressive. If you can tell us few techniques for that, for those kind of parents who have just started with their parenting.
For new parents, and
Yeah.
especially for those children who haven't stepped out yet.
Yes, because
Correct?
I personally saw someone who is still at their home, and they know that they are not coming out after till the child is not vaccinated. So it might happen that the child crosses the age of 2. I'm just taking a hypothetically. The child might crosses the age till 2. So how we can deal with that kind of kids? If you can tell us few techniques.
Okay, so this is also something that I have noticed, especially for new parents, is that with the rise of technology and now the social aspect decreasing, right? It is becoming very difficult because now new parents are also, majority that I have seen at least, parents can correct me on the comments, right? Both parents are working. So the amount of time first given to the child is really less, right? And two, children, especially between 2 to 3, are at that age where they want to explore everything, touch everything, eat everybody, everything is there, right? So they need to constantly be engaged. And the quickest way to engage a child is give them the gadget, which is what every parent needs to avoid. Because that is what brings on an aggressive behavior because you do not know what the child is watching. These days, even cartoons have different visual in. I don't know, like one cartoon that doesn't have any hitting, right? And even if the child is only watching rhymes, if the child is only watching DIY videos, whatever it is, how much can a child watch? Eventually, the child will get irritated. And that irritation is what brings out a little bit of aggression. The child does not mean to be aggressive or mean to throw tantrums, mean to throw things. He just don't know how to say, I am bored. I don't have anything to do. I don't have anybody to play with. You are not spending time with me. A child of 2 years doesn't know to say any of that. It is like when the child is an infant, they cry for milk because they do not have speech. But just because a 2-year-old has speech doesn't mean they have the vocabulary to say what they are feeling. But as adults, we have already gone through that. So what we can do as parents and adults is try to understand, I am seeing that you are frustrated. Are you bored? Are you hungry? Is there something I can do for you? Do you need something? When you, instead of showing back the irritation, when we sit with the child and hold their space and emotions, the child is able to verbalize better what they want. That is a starting point for all new parents. There are a lot of things you can get the child to do apart from gadgets. Start teaching them home chores. The simplest thing is they are taking their toys and keeping back their own toys. You don't have to like put in the washing machine or anything like that. Help them bring vegetables inside. Help them sort the vegetables that you have already bought. Teach them small space cleaning. Any DIY activities, interactive games you can buy. There are so many games available on Amazon. Right? So there are, you need to, as parents, you need to find creative ways.
Yes, agreed.
Yes, you cannot go out and mingle with other people, but you can go out by yourself as a family for a walk.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Harshika. So this was another question we got from a parent. What are the signs of the stress in children, and why it is more important to pay attention to them during the pandemic time?
Okay. Wait, Tamanna, before that, can I just request that from my personal account also, if you could add that in, because I think this, especially this question, I want a lot more of the parents
Sure.
following me to
Yeah.
kind of, yeah. Just give me a second.
Sure.
Thank you. Can
Okay.
you hear?
Keep going.
It's echoing.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Or then I
I
think you
can
just
just
remove
remove
that,
that.
then it's not going to work.
That's it.
Okay.
I'll share this with them later. Then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there are three types of stress for the parents to notice, and this is at every age, right? The first is the physical, the emotional, and the behavioral. Now, the emotional and the behavioral kind of go hand in hand. So the moment there's an emotional trigger, then it will majority of the time come out as a behavioral concern. Right? So physical concern could be that you will suddenly find your child saying, my stomach is hurting, my head is hurting, I don't feel like eating, I'm feeling very tired, things like that. Right? So, and this could be just without reason. Like the previous day, they would have just been like, I won this game, and the next day they'll just be like, my stomach is hurting. So, and instead of saying, and as parents, we just tend to brush it off. We're like, no, 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 nothing like you're simply doing drama. Come. This is what we say. But instead of that, trying to understand what stage of transition the child is in. Is the child starting a new school? Have you shifted to a new locality? Is the child going to a new grade? Has a teacher changed in the school? Has a kid said anything? Is the child suddenly seeing children after a very long time, or maybe for the first time? Right? You need to understand what stage of transition the child is in, and accordingly then respond for the physical symptoms. Right? Yeah, also parents, this could sometimes be genuine as well. So you need to know like when to check in and when not to check in. Right? Emotional could be anxiety, mood swings, aggression, the anger coming in as aggression, right? It could be withdrawal. It could be low self-esteem because stemming from body image concerns, especially if it is preteens or teenagers, right? It could be sleeplessness, nightmares, bedwetting. You will find if anything scary has happened to children, if the child is 5 or 6, then you must still find them bedwetting because they're having nightmares about something that is scary, right? So these are all emotional, physical, behavioral triggers that come into play, and you need to look at them carefully. I'm not saying you will have to panic as parents because your child is displaying such behaviors, but it is important to hold their okay, your stomach is paining, tell me why. There's something you ate. Okay, you're feeling anxious, why? Do you have an exam? Did someone tell you something? Have you seen something or noticed something? Right? So these, like the way you respond to your child will help in modifying their behavior. Because at the end of the day, for the child, it's all about somebody understanding them and somebody supporting them, especially when they become teenagers, right? Because teenagers want to be independent, will go through a lot of bodily changes, hormonal changes, emotional changes. They don't know entirely from right to wrong. They want to make their own decisions and they do tend to be secretive because they feel that if I say this, my mom will scold me. If I do this, my parents will scold me. But letting them know that these are the things that even you have gone through as a child to a parent right now will help them open up more, thereby reducing the stressors and the behavior concerns.
Okay. So, Harshika, it happens a lot of time that the kid is going from any stress, or I would say a bullying thing happening in the school. But you,
I'm sorry, Tamanna, you're freezing. Can you just repeat that for me?
is it fine now?
Yeah, thank you.
So I am. So basically, I want to ask you this question: that a lot of time, what happens? The kids are going through a bullying thing at the school, or they are going through any stress due to which bedwetting might happen at home. But the parents are not able to understand that why the child is doing that. They might scold them, or they might took them to doctor ki any issue has happened. So how we can deal with that? How we can understand that the child is going through any issue at the school?
The child is going through any issue at school. So, one, at least younger children, right, who don't have the inhibition of sharing with their parents would be very vocal. Says ki, I don't want to go to school, right? And this is where all that stomach pain, headache, physical symptoms and stressors will come into play because they will want to avoid school, avoid exams, or anything which is causing them the stress. So this is where parents need to look in as to did anything happen at school? Did someone tell you something? Did any child hurt you or push you around? The child's body language when they're coming back from school will tell a lot to the parent. You know, is the child coming in happily and smiling and saying, Hi, Mama, I'm back from school? Or is the child coming like this? Like, yeah, school was good. I just want to go sleep. I'm not hungry. So the way the child is responding, the way the child is walking in can tell a lot on what has happened in school. The teacher may have simply scolded saying, Why are you talking? But it will affect a very sensitive child, right? So these are small things the parents need to notice.
Okay.
And checking in with the teacher every now and then will also give the parent an idea not to understand what is wrong with the child has done, but more to understand how the school has dealt. They are children, they will make mistakes. They are supposed to make mistakes. That's the only
Yes.
way they're going to learn.
Yes. Agreed. Okay. So, how to help a child when he's dealing with mood swings, anger, loneliness, and being emotional without any reason as a teenager? Like child is getting irritated, child is getting frustrated, but we don't know the reason, or the child doesn't know the reason as a teenager. So how we should work on that?
So, this is a really important question, okay? And one thing, as any adult needs to understand, is nothing ever happens without a reason. We just don't know how to explain the reason, right? Especially with teenagers, where, like I had mentioned before, they're going through such a huge transition, right? They will start comparing themselves with their peers. They will start looking at their body. They will want to look beautiful and handsome. They'll want to build muscles. Their peers may be doing better than them in school, right? And there is a tendency that wherein parents at this time start comparing. There is pressure from the parental side that you have to achieve this. There is a self pressure that I need to be the topper or I need to be the best. There are some kids who are always chosen last or not given opportunities for whatever biased reason, right? So all of these things come into play. There are a lot of things your teenager will not understand, especially if they are at an age where it's their coming of age, right? Especially for girls, if they have to get into their menstrual cycles, there'll be so many emotional spurts that happen. And you cannot say that it's just menstruation. There is no reason for you to feel like this. Menstruation is the reason they're feeling like this, right? For guys, it could be somebody is more bulky and strong and more good looking, and they are more thin, and then they'll have that body image issue. So what saying so what he's not thin and you are thin is not a response. The body image is the reason why the child is feeling like that.
Okay.
Everything has a reason, and trying to figure out why is very important. So again, like I emphasized before, the way you question or respond to the child is very important to build trust and get the child to open up. Building trust is the most important word.
Okay, thank you so much, Harshika. So we do have a question from one of our audience that what kind of environment I should choose when I'm at the age of 17?
What kind of an environment that I should choose at the age of 17? Can they elaborate more on that?
I would request
In
Shubham to
terms of
elaborate.
if the audience is there,
It's a question by Shubham Rawat, so I would request him if he can elaborate the question for
if
us.
Shubham still here, then please, yeah. Because at 17, environment can be anything, right? It can be the school environment, it can be the college environment, it can be your home environment, it can be the peer environment. Is Shubham here? If Shubham is not here, I'll just give him to adjust into all the environments and they can
Yeah.
take it, right? So at 17, this is a major transition period for teenagers, right? They are transitioning first between adolescence to adulthood, like the young adulthood. Second, they are moving from school to college, which is a huge leap, which would mean setting career goals, setting transitioning goals. The way you need to behave in certain social situations have to be different. The way you need to talk when you speak to adults needs to be different, right? Your value systems, though may remain the same with your family, you will tend to have your own thought process of what you believe, don't believe, what your core fundamentals are. So, thinking about all of this, you need to decide where you want to be. If it is in career and you want to go to college, what is the kind of college you want to go to? Is it something that is more reputed or something that is less in reputation but will give you more exposure, right? So, what is important to you? If it is career goal, is it based on your skills and talents, or is it something different? You want to keep your skills and talents as hobbies and want to pursue something differently. You can always take the help of a career or career guidance counselor for that if you are feeling very lost. If you aren't comfortable in your home or there is a lot of conflict, you want to continue staying at home while pursuing, or you would like to move into a hostel. So those are the kind of environmental things that a child will need to think about. And yes, while they are moving into adulthood, they are still minors. So it's very important that they take the adults' opinions into consideration. I'm not saying that has to be the final. That is something I don't believe in. That what your parents say is always the final thing for you. There is a discussion that can happen. There is a navigation that can happen as to why they are saying yes or no, or why the child is saying yes or no, and then coming to a middle ground. this can be the most effective way to decide what kind of an environment they want to be in for their personal growth as well as their professional growth.
Okay. So that was a question from the audience. So I would say thank you, Harshika, for this amazing session and helping us out and giving us a few strategies about parenting. So thank you so much.
Welcome. It was such a pleasure, and thank you, Tamanna, and thank you, Manoshala, for this opportunity. I know I've been moving a lot and going in and out of the screen. I'm really sorry about that, but I hope this was a really helpful session. If anybody has any more questions, you can reach out to Tamanna or Manoshala or directly to me as well. That's okay.
Yes.
Right? Have we answered everybody's questions? Anybody has anything more? Because we have, I think, around 5 more minutes.
Yeah, we can wait for 2 minutes. If people have any question, they can ask us. But we had only one question from Shubham, so we have answered that.
Oh, thank you, Science Oncology. Oh, wait, that's Vinci, so she said my friend, and thank you, Vinci. So there was a parent that asked tips for new parents. I hope their question was answered. Oh, I also want to say, Samana and Manasala have been watching your lives and following the work. So I think it's amazing what you're doing, bringing out so much information for the general public as well as other practitioners to learn from.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So I think audience don't have any question. So thank you, Harshika. Oh, sorry, thank
Thank
you.
you, Samana.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Bye. And bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.